Remember back on YouTube where like the limit for how large videos could be were like 100 megabytes? That was hilarious. Oh, there's some good shit. It's your guy. What did I say? I never said that. What? Hey, what's up, folks? It's the Methodical AAA. Yeah, let me just jump right in. I like him as a character when he's a supporting character. I've been sitting on this for 3 years. I've been trying to come to terms with how I felt, or how I still currently feel about the 2016 film Doctor Strange. It's not bad, but I wouldn't say it's good either. It's right there in the middle. And the thing that's really confusing is the amount of critical praise that the film gets. I don't understand why. The purpose of this video is to point out the fundamental problems I have with the film Doctor Strange and how I feel they could be improved. So where's my phone? Let me get my phone because I wrote all this on my phone. Let me start. I don't like Doctor Strange's progression into a magician. Strange made it clear that he doesn't believe in the supernatural despite apparently being in New York during the Chitauri invasion.
Stephen Strange is currently performing surgery about 20 blocks that way.
Okay, but I understood the purpose of that. You know, that was to show that Strange is going to have serious trouble conjuring magic. If that was the case, why would the film cheat and have Doctor Strange create his first portal off screen? I know what some people would say, oh, it's not that big a deal, blah, blah, blah. No. You don't understand. Up until this point, Doctor Strange was failing at magic, but now when he's put under pressure, we don't get to see how he overcomes it. That's completely unacceptable. Given that we have a good grasp of who Doctor Strange is by this point, we as an audience should have been able to see all of the conclusions that he came to in order to accomplish this. Like Doctor Strange up to this point, he's a very analog type of guy, so these sorts of concepts should be completely foreign to him, which they are, but my point is he should lack a solid grasp on these for a good chunk of the movie. And as if that wasn't bad enough, after he creates his first portal, he pretty much becomes a magical genius, except not because he still kind of sucks at what he's doing.
I was just doing exactly what it said in the book.
What did the book say about the dangers of performing that ritual?
I don't know, I haven't gotten to that part yet.
You don't know how to use that, do you?
Another problem with this is the fact that the Ancient One has the gall to say to Doctor Strange,
It's not about you.
how are you really gonna say that when the film never actually gives Doctor Strange a chance to truly struggle at magic? Like I said, the shit just literally comes to him.
The cloak of levitation.
It came to you.
Where did you learn the litany of spells required to even understand it? What you just did takes more than a good memory.
You were born for the mystic arts.
Whack.
Compare this to my friends.
We will choose that man. Let's go! He will be the first in a new breed of super soldiers. Grenade! Go!
Get away! Get back! Is this a test?
It's a little bit harsh.
See, these characters had to struggle to become their best selves. The film is supposedly about Strange being able to surrender his ego and become more humble, but logically speaking, Doctor Strange shouldn't have a change of heart if he is naturally good at everything, only encountering the initial roadblock here and there. See, the common consensus is that the first 20 to 30 minutes of Doctor Strange is boring, and when the magic comes, that's when the film gets interesting. I wholeheartedly disagree. My favorite part of Doctor Strange is everything before he gets introduced to magic, because that's when we see him at his lowest point. That's when we see him truly struggle. And another big problem I have is when he's confessing to Christine about how much of an asshole he's been. Again, he has no real reason to have a change of heart, because even right before he learned of the existence of magic, he was still an asshole.
You think too little of yourself.
Oh, you think you see through me, do you? Well, you don't. But I see through you!
So, one would assume that him struggling to learn magic and overcoming that obstacle was the turning point in him becoming a better person. We're led to believe that Strange finally surrendered his ego, but again, we didn't get to see it. You understand where I'm coming from? Like, the film feels like it's cheating through its character development. It feels so bare bones. It feels like it has to get from point A to point Z in as quickly a time as possible in under a 2-hour time limit. Like, he just gets the mandatory checklist of character progression out the way, but nothing more. And like I said, what's so strange about this is the amount of critical praise this film gets. Why? Because of the visuals? Inception did it better. And I know I'm not saying this to be some sort of mean contrarian or anything like this, but that's seriously how it comes across to me. Inception did the visuals better, and Iron Man did the story better. Doctor Strange is the lesser of the two. Cheers to anyone who has alcohol in their hand. Now, one way I feel the film could have improved is a relatively small change, but one that really pays off in the long run. Have Doctor Strange fail in creating his first portal on Mount Everest. Not only that, but have Mordo save him from freezing to death. Doing this accomplishes 3 things. 1, it doesn't give Doctor Strange the easy way out and shows that he still has much to learn. And these next 2 are really important in my opinion. It shows that while she might mean well, the Ancient One isn't as wise and as trustworthy as she lets on. And finally, it foreshadows Mordo finding fault in the Ancient One's decisions, and it leads to him making his own decisions. And to branch off of this, I gotta talk about this. All right. I don't really like how magic is learned in the MCU. Now, I don't know if this is how it was in the comics, and I don't really care. And I know someone's gonna bring up Thor.
Your ancestors called it magic, and you call it science. Well, I come from a place where they're one and the same thing.
I don't care about that either. My point is, Doctor Strange was our first real introduction to magic in the MCU, and yet I don't feel like I really learned anything new since there wasn't any unique way of getting to this point. I mean, Strange reads a couple of books and all of a sudden he's a master now. Well, master supposedly. See, what I'm thinking is, instead of reading a bunch of books and getting good at magic, reading can help with spells once you already understand the logistics and the intricacies of magic. Fine, that's where the books come in. But before all of that, your first real introduction to magic was not to read books, but to feel the magic. Let me bring it back to Power Rangers. Now, I know, I keep bringing Power Rangers up, but see, listen, so many things in the MCU were introduced to me through Power Rangers. And that's one reason why I wasn't really hype for Avengers. In 2012, watching that film, I was entertained, but I saw it before.
Avengers! Assemble.
Are you guys ready? Ready! Battle Thunder! Power up! Blade Ranger! Battle Power! Ranger Storm! Ranger Form! Thunder Storm! Ranger Form! Samurai Storm! Ranger Form! Ranger Power! World Access! Platform! Platform! World Access! Quantum Power! Power
like the all-American boy who becomes the charismatic leader of a team.
The city needs you.
I'm in, sir.
Morally ambiguous character sacrificing himself after rediscovering his humanity or whatever species he is.
I'm sorry I didn't do none of it right. I'm damn lucky you're my boy.
Thank you, son, for showing me the way. This is for you, Zika.
Wealthy rich kid who goes through character development and ends up giving his life to save the greater good.
The only thing you really fight for is yourself.
What's your problem? I'm fighting on your side.
You're not fighting at all. You're playing.
I'm not crazy, Pepper. I just finally know what I have to do.
You were right. I've never had to fight for anything in my life. But now I have something to fight for.
What do you remember about your dad, huh? He was cold. He was calculating. He never told me he loved me. He never even told me he liked me.
I used to look up to that man. I want to be just like him. But now I realize all he really cares about is money. All his big plans for me. Even I became just another business venture.
What is and always will be my greatest creation is you.
I tried to plan my son's life, but he took charge of his own destiny, and I'll always be proud of him for doing it.
I thought my dad was tough on me. And now, looking back on it, I just remember the good stuff. Everything's gonna be all right.
Thank you. In case anything happens in the future, I just want you to know how proud I am to be your son.
Well, Wesley, that means the world to me to hear you say that.
Tell us what happened to Wes.
He didn't make it.
Prominent female members sacrificing herself for the greater good.
I'm okay.
Former bad guy who joins the heroes against the greater evil.
Destroy them.
Kendricks? You will become the Pink Ranger.
Yeah!
You're weak. I'm you. Face my past.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
I wouldn't want to be a Power Ranger anyway.
I love being a Power Ranger.
I want you to hear me on this one. Massive battle for planet Earth that ends with the good guy who's been here since day one sacrificing himself to turn all the villains into dust. I'm saying somebody better lawyer up. I swear Power Rangers gets no respect, which is understandable because the most recognizable version of Power Rangers is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which honestly, considering how good Power Rangers can be, is a real disservice. I mean, I know, I sound like a gatekeeper, but when people bring up Mighty Morphin Power Rangers as their definitive perception of Power Rangers, it annoys me because it's just like, yo, you really don't know dick about Power Rangers. I know, that was just a long tangent, but what was I talking? Doctor Strange. All right. The only reason why I brought up Doctor Strange was because Mystic Force did the skeptic learning magic better than Doctor Strange. Okay, well, initially, because Doctor Strange does prove to be a better character in the long run than the Red Ranger Nick. I mean, if I had to compare Doctor Strange to a Red Ranger, he would probably be Leo from Lost Galaxy. And if anyone has watched Lost Galaxy, they know that's a compliment. But back to Mystic Force and Doctor Strange. Both Nick Russell and Stephen Strange have arbitrary skepticism, which, given the world they inhabit, dumb, but I get it's something to overcome. But while Strange reads some books and gets good at magic off screen, Nick says, I believe in magic. I know it sounds corny, but again, I don't care. The way I always interpreted that was Nick accepting that the impossible is possible, and he's also accepting that he is capable of creating the impossible, or the perceived impossible. See, they had the seeds of that with Doctor Strange saying he doesn't believe this shit, and the Ancient One saying to surrender his ego. But like I said, the pivotal moment happens off screen. No. So going back to my scenario where Strange fails at creating his portal and Mordo has to save him. I guess beforehand, Strange could have talked to Mordo, like had a passing mention of his photographic memory. Later that day, Strange is sad, of course, and Mordo goes to him to give him some advice, where he says, you can read all the books you want, but photographic memory won't help you on this one. Until you believe in magic, progress will forever escape you. Like the Ancient One said, surrender your ego. And see, this would be the start of something that I feel the film lacked, in my opinion. The friendship between Doctor Strange and Mordo. They're cordial to each other, but they're not Steve and Bucky. Hell, they're not even Steve and Tony. So this will be the start of their friendship that will inevitably be broken once their respective ideologies clash. And Mordo, referring back to the Ancient One saying surrender his ego, shows that he's still clinging to her teachings before his disillusionment. So for the final stage of this alternate scene, we go back to the training grounds, except this time, Strange requests to be taken back to Everest. Both the Ancient One and Mordo are shocked, but they both go with him. Strange says no matter what, don't come back for him. The Ancient One leaves, and Mordo, before he leaves, he gives Strange one last look saying, you got this. So, we're with Doctor Strange the whole time, and I'd say this scene is reminiscent of Empire Strikes Back. You know that scene. Mordo's words of encouragement are playing through Strange's head as he slowly starts turning his hand. I guess the music would be because you know how like the portals, like they kind of generate sparks. Daniel Pemberton's score for Into the Spider-Verse, it's called The Spark in You. I guess I could do that in editing. Strange finally creates his first portal. Strange returns to the training grounds and Ancient One looks impressed, while Mordo, he has the look of a guy who just saw his younger bro get a girl's number for the first time. Now, if you haven't noticed, the video's not over, so I have a few more changes I would like to run by you. As for Doctor Strange randomly getting things like the Cloak of Levitation and understanding the Time Stone as quickly as possible, I want to change some of that too. I would actually say we should keep Strange's understanding of the Time Stone because it is instrumental in how he defeats Dormammu, and also the themes present in that scene, I feel they would be strengthened with the alternate scenes I'm proposing. Because in the film as it is, I feel like the film was trying to reach that climactic point where everything came to a head in terms of Doctor Strange's character progression, but it did not click for me. So I'm continuing. Now, if we look at Vision, Killmonger, Ego, Yellow Jacket, Zemo, Hela, Vulture, the list goes on. You don't necessarily need to be comic book accurate in order to tell a specific story, which brings me to the Cloak of Levitation. Another change I would make is instead of the Cloak of Levitation randomly floating in some case and it choosing Doctor Strange because of reasons, I would say that instead Doctor Strange creates the Cloak of Levitation. Or rather, the cloak is an inanimate object, and Strange, as a demonstration of him slowly becoming better at the mystic arts, infuses the cloak with magic to the point where it becomes sentient. This would happen right after my alternate version of Strange making his first portal, and due to that confidence boost, he takes it upon himself to read more and more, and one of the books gives him an idea to turn an inanimate object sentient. I guess you could have the cloak hanging around some laundry room just gathering dust. It doesn't really matter where you get it. But hold your horses, it doesn't become the Cloak of Levitation overnight. Strange is still learning, right? We're not trying to take the easy way out here. So a quick montage of a lot of trial and error, but right when Strange is ready to give up, he tries one last time and it doesn't work. Or does it? Strange at this point, he's like, you know what? I've been at this for so long. I'm going to sleep. I'll tackle this some other day. So he goes to sleep, and what does he see when he wakes up? The cloak hovering right over him. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's a really simple process once you get down to it. Attempt, failure, and finally success. All you really need to do is show the audience every step of the way. Iron Man did it this way. Doctor Strange also did it this way, but like I said, it ignored the heavy lifting considering the kind of person Doctor Strange was and the kind of endeavor he was undertaking.
Control it by surrendering control? It doesn't make any sense.
Doctor Strange is a flesh and blood surgeon taking on magic. That concept alone, there's a lot to unpack there. But back to the cloak. In the film, the cloak seems to have a very playful nature, which might be why it was locked up. I say we should keep that playful nature because I feel it would make more sense why the cloak would be so excited around Strange, because Strange was the one who gave it life. And oh boy, is it happy to be alive. It's flying around, knocking over shit, and Strange is like, okay, nah, you gotta chill. And he's able to put it in his closet so it doesn't go nuts. Now the film can play out the same because we've seen Strange overcome 2 struggles. So by this point, it's cemented in our heads that he's getting good at magic. You can fast forward, he learns the time stone, yada yada yada, shit hits the fan. Strange fights Caecilius, but this time we cut back to the cloak because it's been sensing that its master is in danger. The fight starts going south and the cloak starts thrashing around in the closet. Caecilius puts one of his magic blades at Strange's throat. That's it. The cloak just stands still and then it just bursts out of the room and rushes straight towards the fight. All hope is lost. Caecilius pushes Strange. Strange stumbles back and then like I said, I would have the film play out the same, especially with how Strange defeats Dormammu using the Time Stone. Remember what I said, attempts, failure.
Failure? Absolutely.
It's a little bit harsh.
And finally, success. In this, Strange obviously fails over and over, but I feel the way I put it, he finally understands how meaningful failure is. Like, I really feel like the film wanted to come across as I'm presenting it, but like I said, it skipped the heavy lifting. And instead of having Strange actually struggle to create his magic, they just say, oh, he has the gift. Oh, it calls to you.
It came to you.
Nah, that's unacceptable. That's lazy. Now, finally, for the last scene of the film. I know I talked a lot of shit about Doctor Strange, but I actually do like the idea that he originally came to Kamar-Taj to fix his hands, but he ended up giving himself to a higher calling. And the ending seems to call attention to that. But if I could make one last change, it would be Strange looking at his hands and his watch, but this time, also to show his understanding of the mystic arts, Doctor Strange would form his signature yellow gloves over his hands as he looks out the window. And honestly, I really wish they had those yellow gloves in Infinity War and Endgame, but you know, so yeah, those are my changes. You know, I'm just saying I feel that Doctor Strange would have been a better film if Strange actually struggled and earned what he got. I know everyone talks shit about The Force Awakens. I still like the film, but even in my Star Wars video, one of my complaints was the fact that Rey, out of nowhere, she was able to get the Force and she was able to defeat Kylo Ren, someone who's used the Force much longer than her. Yeah, I will say that was lazy. Just like in Doctor Strange, oh, she has the gift. Oh, the Force, it calls to you. No, characters need to struggle in order to have a satisfying character arc. There was a little film that came out in 2004 called Spider-Man 2. That whole film was struggle city for Peter Parker. And alright, I'm not really crazy about him getting with MJ, especially since, MJ left homeboy at the altar looking like a fool. Yo, all the people he done invited, it's like, oh yeah, I'm getting married. You see the lady I'm with, man, ain't she beautiful? Oh my God, this is gonna be the start of the rest of our lives. Bruh, talk about embarrassed. I really hope I never know that kind of embarrassment. That was foul on MJ's part. That was a supervillain move. That was evil. But from Peter's point of view, considering how much he struggled, the payoff of him finally getting with Mary Jane, it seemed a lot more sweet because he had to work for it. Considering the most recognizable things we know about Doctor Strange, like his cloak of levitation and his ability to create portals, which definitely came in handy that one time. Like, I would have liked the explanation of how he was able to conjure those things. I would have liked it to be more than, oh yeah, and one day he got this too. Yeah, that's how I feel about Doctor Strange, and those are the changes I would propose in ostensibly making it a better film. So yeah, I'm the Methodical AAA. Peace. Alright, since I already compared Doctor Strange to a Red Ranger, I guess I could probably compare the core Avengers to Red Rangers. Alright, yeah, let's do this. Obviously, Captain America is Carter Grayson. Tony Stark is Wesley Collins. Thor, I'm thinking Connor McKnight. Both characters are so much more powerful than they have any right to be, but they struggle just enough to make it fine. And also, they're not the brightest bulbs. Natasha, okay, this is kind of cheating because Hunter, he's the Crimson Ranger. He's not necessarily a Red Ranger. I feel, yeah, Natasha's character works well with Hunter because both are brooding and yeah, they both obviously keep their most intimate thoughts to themselves until shit hits the fan. Bruce would be Casey because both characters have a ton of potential and both characters are afraid to go all out because of what it might do. Finally, Clint. Honestly, Clint, I'm thinking Clint would be Tommy Oliver. I know someone would be like, whoa, Clint, Tommy Oliver? Get out of here. Nah. I have the perfect argument. All right, so just like how Tommy is the longest serving Ranger, Clint has been at S.H.I.E.L.D. before any of the other Avengers were. Shit, I know I had another one. Both Clint and Tommy were brainwashed and evil, and immediately after they got out of that brainwash bullshit, they joined the team as the 6th member.
How many agents did I get?
Don't do that to yourself, Clint. This is Loki.
What have I done? What you did under Rita's influence. Will you join us, Tommy?
You think you can hold him off?
Captain, it'd be my genuine pleasure.
And not only that.
You okay?
I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if I'm cut out for all this superhero stuff.
You cracked me up.
What'd I say?
You remind me so much of myself when I was your age. There's a whole world you haven't even tapped into yet. Beyond Triassic Power and Super Dynamo. But you gotta believe you deserve it. And when you do, you'll be blown away by what you can do.
Doesn't matter what you did, what you were. If you go out there, you fight, and you fight to kill. Staying here, you're good. I'll send your brother to come find you, but if you step out that door, you are an Avenger.
Don't at me, bro. Clint is Tommy Oliver. But yeah, anyway, again, I'm the Methodical Triple A. And peace.
Whack.